Hey guys, and welcome to this special edition 50th episode of D3Live. So we've been doing a little bit of a different video today. We've been live on Blog TV for quite a while now, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a different thing while talking about two full topics. So the first thing I want to talk about is HP pretty much getting out of the consumer business as a whole. And that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but of course they axed off webOS. They're blowing out the touchpad as well as all their phones. I was able to pick one up right here, but they're blowing all that out, and they're even trying to, spin off their hardware division with the computers and whatnot. Now, I definitely have talked a little bit about this before. If you guys want to check it out, I did a video about what they announced webOS would be getting killed off, which not really happy about that. But in addition, they also, of course, are going to be spinning off their PC line. Now, thinking about this, that has a pretty big impact around the entire tech industry. If you think HP, which is I believe the #1 by volume of computer manufacturers, so they make the most computers out of anyone, and they're deciding to PC business, we're good with that. That's not exactly good news for everyone. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't try to say that I'm saying that PCs are dying or anything. No, not that at all. But it's certainly very, very curious to see that HP has just decided, you know what, forget this. We're gonna go into businesses. This selling to people, that's too hard. But yeah, so I know I give HP a little bit of a rough time, and I know certainly that not everything is perfect, but I don't really agree with their decision on, well, I don't really so much care about the computer side. I mean, I'm not really huge into business, but I definitely do know what products they make. I know what people like, and I know what people don't like, and what I really wish is that they would have kept webOS around. For now, I mean, of course they just bought Palm. They spent like $1 billion on Palm, and of course I don't know how many millions of dollars they spent developing all the products. All the advertising. I mean, of course, when you launch a company, when you have all the products and everything, that costs a lot of money, and that's all down the drain. In fact, they're selling these touchpads. They probably cost them $300 or $400 to make. They're just throwing them away for like $100. So there's a lot to talk about on that side, but I kind of try to keep it brief. But I definitely think that HP is maybe not making a really bad decision business-wise, but the way they did it, I don't really agree with at all. I think that they could have tried webOS a little bit longer, got out a couple more products, worked on it a little bit more, but those are kind of my thoughts on that opinion. Of course, you guys will probably have your own opinions on all of that. Now, the second big thing of news this week, was that Google is buying Motorola. Now, this is probably the biggest news because Motorola, well, this is the first time Google has really gotten into the hardware market. Of course, Google is hugely rich. I mean, I'm sure they can buy Motorola without blinking an eye, but they've always been in the software area. Of course, you have Google Search, you've got all kinds of online properties such as YouTube, which you guys are probably watching this video on right now. But this is the first time they've actually really hardcore, well, they've really pretty much gotten into the hardware market at all. Of course, they will be making Motorola phones, and Motorola does make Android, which of course Google owns. So there are definitely they kind of sync up pretty well there. But I definitely think it's going to be very curious to see what Google decides to do. Now, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of things that they can do with Motorola. Of course, they can continue making the phones. They can perhaps amp it up and make all the Motorola phones special Google branded, or kind of tie in Android in that and try to get a little bit more of a cohesive experience there. They absolutely could do that. But from what we know, they're not really planning on doing anything like that. What they're planning on doing is just have them kind of separate, just kind of we own them, but we're not really going to be doing anything special. Of course, they're going to be keeping the patents to protect from all these lawsuits that they're getting, which is kind of what happens in the tech industry. But as far as this goes, I'm not really against it. I think it definitely could be really cool. I would definitely like to see some really cool Google branded and really Android, pure Android and all that kind of stuff on these Motorola phones. But we'll definitely have to wait and see what exactly their plans are, Google plans to do with this, and all the phones that we may or may not see in the future. Okay, so for the second segment of D3 Live, I'll be taking live questions from everyone in the chat. As always, every episode of D3 Live is filmed in front of a live audience. We've got quite a few people, in fact a record amount of people in here right now, so let's just go ahead and take a couple of questions. What do I think if Microsoft, Apple, Nintendo, and Sony came together to make a product? Realistically, I'm sure they would probably get shot down for, abusing their status or whatever the competitive, I forget exactly, but yeah, the feds would probably walk in and stop that. But just assuming that that was just wasn't really a big deal. I think that it could make something awesome. I mean, Sony makes great hardware, Apple makes great hardware, Microsoft can make some really good software. Hardware's not too bad. I mean, there's a lot, and of course Nintendo has amazing games, so they could make something awesome like a game console, TV, laptop, computer. monitor. Yeah, that's what they make. But no, that would be pretty awesome. What do I think about the Intel Core i7? I love the i7. I've got an i7 2600K in my computer. Blazing fast. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no even real... Well, I've got mine overclocked, but it's so fast anyway, it's almost not really a big deal. For the money, well, just pure... I mean, just for a processor right now, the i7 is absolutely the top of the range. That may be changing when some of the Bulldozer chips come out. But of course, we have the Ivy Bridge, which is going to be the next generation of Core i7. So... yeah, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. If you're looking for a really intense gaming rig or something with a lot of power, the i7 is definitely something you should at least look at, if not just outright just pick one up. What do I use to edit videos? I edit all of my videos on Corel's Video Studio Pro X4. If you guys are interested, I have done a review on my channel before, so you guys can check that out. Pretty much, I like it a lot. I've used Video Studio for quite a while. It's really good editing software. It's not really all that expensive, and what you get is a really solid editor. It's not quite on the level of like Sony Vegas or something, but it's going to be cheaper and it's a lot easier to learn. It's not quite as complicated, but it can still do a lot of the same things that Vegas can. Does the touchpad do anything better than the iPad? You know, that's kind of a hard thing. Yeah, I mean, certain things it will. I mean, for example, it has flash. The iPad doesn't have flash. I mean, even something simple as it has 2 speakers that are pretty decent as opposed to the 1. I mean, yeah, some things. But overall, I do like the iPad better. And, well, the iPad 2. It's kind of hard to compare it against the iPad 1. But yeah, I do like the iPad 2 better overall. But for the price, for $100 compared to $500, I don't think it's a competition. I mean, they're just in totally 2 different leagues. I mean, you don't compare a Kia to a Lamborghini, so, well, that's not the greatest analogy. But yeah, I do think the iPad does things better than the touchpad, but if you can find one for the cheap price, it's going to be a great tablet for you. It really is. It's for that cheap, you're not going to be able to get anything that's going to be anywhere near touching this. What are my thoughts on Minecraft Beta 1.8 Adventure Mode? If you guys, well, you probably know I've been doing videos on and off for the past year, but yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Minecraft, and I'm really looking forward to the Adventure Mode update. If you guys are not familiar, it's going to be a pretty major, probably the biggest update we've seen for Minecraft, and it's going to include basically a Adventure Mode, as you guys may have guessed already. You can go ahead and do all kinds of stuff. It will have an actual story, somewhat. You're going to actually have towns and NPCs. It's going to bring Minecraft from, you know, just a general open world game where you just build stuff to something where you actually have a goal, which I think is going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 1.8 update, as well as just the general release of the game. Retina display on iPad 3. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think early next year, I would probably say somewhere probably March, April, maybe May, but I would say probably somewhere in the March to April timeframe, we will see an iPad 3, and it will almost definitely have a Retina display. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with the current iPad display. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just not very high resolution. So once they put a Retina display on there, I think it's going to be absolutely stellar. Anyway, guys, that's going to be about it for this 50th episode of D3 Live. I definitely want to give a pause and give you guys a big thanks for helping us get the show to 50 episodes. It's taken a little over like a year and 3 months or so to get this far, but I'm having an absolute blast. I really enjoy the show. Been having a great time today, and of course, pretty much every Saturday since last year. So I really want to give you guys a big thanks, and if you are new to D3 Live, it's the first time you've ever seen it, I do it every Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time on Blog TV, and I'll have a link in the description of the video. So if you guys want to come hang out, check it out and everything, absolutely feel free to come on by. You can come hang out, chat, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, thanks for 50 episodes. I screwed that up, didn't I?